Hello, hello. We are here with Gamebound, a little series where we play one-shots of various role-playing games. Tonight on the docket, it is another round of Apocalypse World, which I'm very excited about. I did not have everybody in the right spots in this overlay, but now I do.
Ow.
There were so many things wrong with this is an old overlay that I had to change and stuff. There's so many weird things wrong about it that I had to fix, and I didn't even think about that stuff right there. So anyway, we're here and we are gonna play some Apocalypse World. But before we begin in earnest, we've made characters. As you can see, we have our wonderful characters, Sapphire, Ford Fiesta, and Needle, for our Apocalypse World one-shot today. And we're going to do what... We've already made most of the character, except for the history portion, the hex portion of the game. And that is finding out the history of the other characters with each other. So we're going to do that quick. But before we do that, let's give a very brief description. So, obviously your name, your playbook, and your looks for each character, starting with Alyssa. Who is Sapphire?
Hello, I am Sapphire. I am a what am I called? Maestro.
Maestro D.
Maestro D. And I am a woman with a vintage wear, a boyish face, mischievous eyes, a curvy body, and very precise hands.
Yep. And we'll find out what a Maestro D is and what that entails soon. Who's Ford Fiesta? What's she look like?
I'm Ford Fiesta. I'm a woman. I have leatherware, a fine boned face, cool eyes, and a solid body.
Very nice. What's your playbook?
Wait, like my playbook reputation?
The name.
Oh.
Driver.
Sorry. I was like, wait, what? I'm a driver, and we'll find out later what that means.
Yeah. Find out what she drives. Carly, who's Needle?
Needle is an angel playbook. He's a man with casual wear plus utility, a strong face, clear eyes, and a big body.
Very nice.
And I was half hoping that Carly was just going to make her voice deeper in that moment, and it didn't happen.
She's not speaking in her character's voice yet.
Also,
we still got time.
She has clear eyes, full heart, can't lose.
What?
If anyone gets that reference.
I know.
So let's do history. I didn't even hear what you said because I was responding to someone in chat. Peyton says, "Wait, someone with the name Ford is a driver. Who would have thought?" Yeah, that's the
Rise.
So let's start with you, Alyssa. You have 2 questions.
Okay.
On your history here. Which of you do I find most attractive? So that normally you would just be I'm the one who has these in front of me right now. Normally you would ask this question to the other people. But yeah, so for Ford Fiesta and Needle, which one of you does Sapphire find the most attractive? But you get to answer this question.
Oh.
Yes. So for Ford or Needle, you get to answer which one of you finds Sapphire most attractive between the 2 of you.
Oh, which one of
So
us?
which
does?
Sapphire
Wait.
thinks is more attractive?
Yes, sorry. It's worded confused.
Oh my gosh.
In a
Okay.
confused manner.
Who do
Which of
we
you-
decide
Yeah. Which
that
of you
Sapphire thinks is more attractive?
do I find most attractive?
Okay, got it.
Yes. Which of the 2 of you is most attractive to Sapphire? Sorry.
What? You keep changing it.
No, that's what it is. Which
But
of you?
that last one was
Because you're
correct.
the one asking the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which of you, both between Ford and Needle,
Okay.
finds Sapphire most attractive?
How hot is Needle?
Not very, I don't think, right?
Are you a 0 hot?
Yes.
Because you hotter than me. So I think it's going to be Needle.
Okay.
That makes sense. He's also a man, so.
Yes.
Look, I'm doing it in a very objective way. I'm less hot.
Yes.
True. All right. So you write for, and I can just do this as we go too. So I'm gonna write in your hex here, in your history, Alyssa, on the side, the name of Needle, and then this answering this question in this fashion means that you have a +2 hex with Needle.
Okay.
So that means you are pretty good at rolling to hinder or to help or interfere with Needle because you're interested in them. And then the other question that your character would ask to Ford and Needle is, which one of you is my favorite? But it could also be Needle, technically, which would change the hex value here.
I don't know. I'm really cool. I'm just not hot. And I'm a little weird. Oh my gosh. I'm just taking... We'll say me.
Yeah. I think that'd be
No
fun.
one else is saying anything.
I don't get to decide this. It's between
I'm not
between you two.
Exactly,
so.
yeah.
I will make the decision.
So you find Needle most attractive, probably because mainly because he's a man, but also Ford is your favorite.
So I'd like to think that because Ford Fiesta and I have such different personalities, that like I am I'm like, ugh, no, like Ford Fiesta, but secretly really love Ford Fiesta, kind of a thing.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Where like I'd like give Ford Fiesta like a bunch of like perks
Aloof
and whatnot,
vibes.
like, but I'm like very aloof. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Okay. I mean, Ford's kind of aloof too, I'd assume.
I really
virtue of being
appreciate...
the driver.
I don't know. I appreciate that Alyssa's using my full name. Ford Fiesta.
Ford Fiesta. Yeah.
It's a double first name since I'm Southern. We're really into double first names.
John
and
Michael.
My name is Ford Fiesta. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. The hex questions for you, Ford Fiesta, is which one of you once got me out of some serious crap?
What kind of crap?
Serious.
Some serious crap. And again, technically, you don't have to answer this question. There are 3 questions that she asks. So.
Oh, and then we only answer 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, probably. I mean, you can technically answer all 3 or whatever, but because there's only 2 other possibilities, there's not much give or take on this. So.
So if it was like trying to hide from somebody, it would be me. But if it was like I got injured, like in a car crash or something, it'd be Needle. So it just kind of depends on like what kind of serious crap we're talking here.
Yeah.
Carly, what do you think?
Well, we could look at the other 2 questions too and like compare them, right? The other 2 questions are, which one of you has been with me for days on the road? And which one of you have I caught sometimes staring out at the horizon?
I called the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
That's a very Carly character move.
It's true. So I'll take the first one where like I've gotten her out of some serious crap.
Okay. Yeah. That
I
makes sense.
see. Nobody wants to spend days on end with me in my car.
I can't. I have responsibilities.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I have to run an establishment.
All right. So that means Sapphire
Needle doesn't
has,
like road trips.
and Needle, you have a +3 with Needle. You're really interested in them because of their staring out into the horizon.
So mysterious.
Yeah, exactly. It intrigues you. And then Needle, your questions are, which one of you do I figure is doomed to self-destruction? I think we both maybe know what the answer to that question is, but the other 2 questions are, which one of you put a hand in when it mattered and helped me save a life? And the last one is, which one of you has been beside me all along and has seen everything I've seen?
Okay, I'm curious who you think is self-destructing.
Ford.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Who
was
is
like,
Ford? I only know Ford Fiesta.
Ford Fiesta, sorry.
Also, what are you talking about self-destructing?
You literally have a move that you can ram your car into someone.
Yeah, just in case I gotta ram my car into someone. Look, I feel like I've seen everything she's seen, seeing as I can drive my car and see the things. But fine, if we want to say that I'm self-destructive, we can. But,
Technically, you're the one who gets to answer this for Fiesta.
right.
Wait,
What was the
middle
second
one?
question again? Yeah.
Middle one is, which one of you put a hand in when it mattered and helped me save a life?
I feel like that could be me. Maybe like somebody at my establishment,
That
like
makes sense.
like was passed out or something like that, and like I helped with that. I don't know.
Makes sense to me.
Look, everyone might assume Ford Fiesta would be the answer to question number 1, but I'm going to make her the answer to question number 3 because she's, as previously stated, very intrigued by Needles staring off into the distance.
Well, obviously she was staring off in the distance when she was in the passenger seat of your car, right?
So I don't know, but like if she's staring off in the distance, not in the passenger seat, then I will go the distance and look at what's there. And I can come back and tell him.
I can imagine, right, that if Ford Fiesta likes to drive around a lot and Needle is like the person who's like the medic, maybe Ford Fiesta drives you to people who need medical care, right? Like that's your kind of partnership that you have going on right now. Okay, cool. Yeah, there you go. So that's the history of the other characters with each other. And let's see here. Where do we want to begin? Let me pull up my reference sheet here. The GM stuff. Here we go. All right. So I think the obvious thing to start with would be we get a shot on Sapphire's establishment. What is this called? Is there a sign? What does it look
Sapphire's
like?
Sega.
Sapphire's like saga, like the legend sort of a thing.
No, Sega.
Or
like
Sega,
the video
as in,
game.
the game console. Okay,
right.
I was curious, because that's what it sounded like you were saying. But yeah, okay. So Sapphire Sega. Is there like literally a sign on the outside of this establishment? Is it more secretive? I know there's passwords.
No, I think it's more like a speakeasy where nobody. I think maybe what it is, right, is the coffee shop is like around the corner sort of a thing. And like people like know the coffee shop really, really well and will go in and out of there. But then around the corner is like the secret nerd game shop.
Okay, all right. So Sapphire, please tell me, why is this a secret? Why are there passwords? Is it just that's part of the aesthetic, or is there someone out there who legitimately doesn't like you or the nerd culture or whatever else?
Dean or Ben.
Bean.
Bean. Or Ben.
We'll call him Bean.
That's what I call him. I call him Bean. He's like, it's Dean, and I'm like, okay, Bean, whatever.
It is Bean. That's actually what it is.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. See, I got it right. All right.
Yep. Oh, there you go. I didn't even realize you had a space for establishment. So good job.
Yeah. No, I put it all in there. So, I think Bean is just like a party pooper, and he just like doesn't like games. Like, we're in the middle of apocalypse, and he's like, we got to take this seriously, and we don't have time to play silly games. And I'm like, people need an escape, for even just a little bit.
It's true. It's fair.
And I provide, and it's a very well protective place.
I can understand that. All right. So I'm imagining that the apocalypse situation we have right now is like a kind of like gritty city, like urban apocalypse, but maybe not. It really depends. Like, Ford, what are you thinking in terms of like because you're the one with the car, right? Do you want this to be like Mad Max, like open road sort of a situation, or is this
I'm extremely valuable to the sustainability of society.
Right.
They need me.
Okay. Yeah. So this is more of a small town situation. Where Sapphire's establishment is, and there's like smaller settlements that you probably travel between, with your car. That makes sense. Okay. So I think probably what we see, right? We see this speakeasy sort of thing going on. The surroundings is reminiscent of. I mean, it probably looks like a town in Arizona. Maybe if this is in America, maybe it's lost to lost to time at this point where you actually are in the world, but it's dry, arid kind of desert landscape. And we see this town that it still looks like it's apocalyptic. There's lots of stuff just kind of strewn about, cars that are left just laying about that don't work anymore because it's the apocalypse. It's on this, dead end street at the corner of town, this speakeasy. But it's a very popular joint. But there is it's very easy for us to see, like in the distance, basically, as we get the kind of like the frame shot. Half of the screen is on the establishment, and half the screen is on the desert wasteland beyond. We see Ford's vehicle. First, we see like just a cloud of dust, right? And then it's Ford's vehicle comes.
Here comes
into
Ford
view.
Fiesta.
Exactly. So please describe to us your vehicle and what you look like coming in with Needle in the passenger seat, driving up to this establishment.
Okay, so through the dust sand cloud, you start seeing some front spikes off of the bottom front part. Is that the fender?
The bumper.
Bumper. And
Fender? Yeah. I don't remember which one is
they're around the whole bottom area.
Yeah.
And like it's like cool, like you see like kind of plated armor kind of on the car, and then you notice that it is not a Ford Fiesta. Ford Fiesta is only occupying this Mini Cooper, and it is fast. Ford Fiesta is able to bob and weave very easily through obstacles.
Yeah. A tumbleweed goes by and you quickly dodge it.
Yes. But it also looks like that back seat could probably comfortably hold at least 3 people. Shocking for a Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
Some may say it is capacious.
If they knew that word existed. Yeah,
which it does.
Yeah.
And then it also looks sloppy and rabbity. It just hops randomly, I guess.
Over the dirt rounds.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I can imagine it just kind of like doing that little, just like a stuttering kind of like.
I tried to put hydraulics on it, but it didn't really work. So now it just
kind of like hops.
It just
randomly.
kind of like hops randomly, and I don't have control over it.
That's awesome. So, do we see Needle staring out the window
Really
at the
into the
horizon?
distance.
Needle?
He keeps his eyes on the tumbleweed as it goes behind him.
Yeah. Are you guys having a conversation about anything, or just in silence?
He's just staring out the window.
I might be like kind of
She might be
talking a little
talking,
bit and just getting no response.
Yeah.
But like not in-depth conversation or anything. Just be like, wow, tumbleweed's really, really active today.
They're on the move. They're migrating.
They're just keep on rolling.
Yep. So we see you pull up to the Sapphire Sega. How do you pull up to Sapphire Sega, I guess is the question. Do you do a cool like
I
drift?
do like oh yes, yeah. And so like there's a parallel parking spot that's
Exactly.
like this big, and my car is actually like this big, but somehow I make it work perfectly with like the spikes just barely like ding, if there's anything around, like but
that's awesome.
Doesn't scrape anything.
I mean, the thing is, like, the cars that are on the side of this road anyway are like long abandoned cars that don't even work anymore, so it doesn't really matter. But if it did matter to you, you wouldn't have scratched.
Well, I respect my fellow drivers.
Yeah. Even if they're long dead and in the ground, the ancestors of the drivers live on in our hearts.
I mean, my grandfather, Ford F-150, taught me well.
How did I not see that one coming?
I don't know.
So smooth.
Oh man, I'm imagining like this weird like cargo cult of
Oh my gosh.
of like where they like literally go through like old car manuals and have made a religion out of it. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so you drift into the space. And I think probably what happened is, let's see, Bean is walking out of the, let's see, do you come towards the speakeasy side or the
So
coffee
actually, the
shop
more I
side?
think about it, the more I think that it's actually in the coffee shop, just like in the back, and
Uh-huh.
it's like a basement, right? Where it's like a
Right.
secret like tunnel
Yeah.
that like goes underneath
Sure. Okay.
the coffee shop, and it's
What
underneath
does the
there.
outside of this coffee shop look like? Is it like a kind of like an open window situation? Is it more closed
Yeah.
off? Okay. All right.
Well,
I was gonna say windows are kind of like the first thing to go in the apocalypse. So
yeah, that's true. I think it's
Maybe-
like all brick, like
okay.
all
Yeah.
like old brick building.
So it's like an old firehouse or something like that.
Mhm.
That's been like Okay. Yeah. So the dust like just sprays into the air, and someone opens the thick like oak door or whatever to this thing, and it's
I like-
Bean.
I want to be like outside as I watch him enter to then try and be cooler whenever I enter compared to him.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So basically, I think what happens, right, is you drift up, and it's right as Bean is walking out, so the dust just into his face, and he's been basically being ushered out by a serving wench, I guess, right? Because it's dressed like like a tavern lady would be, and she has like a little hand crossbow that she has to the back of his spine, and is like escorting him out off the premises, and Bean is about to say something like, he's grumbling under his breath like, I swear one of these days, and then and Bean is a just for everybody's reference, he is in his like early 20s, and he seems like pretty healthy, almost battle hardened in his like kind of demeanor. He's gruff, but there's this kind of like, he looks battle hard, like he has scars and stuff, but like his whole like kind of mental thing, his emotional like presence is very like oblivious and just kind of out there. And so he's not really even paying attention to what he's doing as he's like walking out. He's seen some stuff, and maybe he's like had to deal with it, and it's kind of weirder as a result. But he steps out, and then gets dust in his face. And as the dust clears and he's like coughing, we see Ford Fiesta and Needle like get out of the car. He points at you and he says, "You. I told you last time I saw you that if I saw you come around here again, it'd be hell to pay."
I just kind of like get out of my car and just like walk by him, like saunter by him and go through the dust cloud into the entry.
Yeah. Did you hear me? I was talking to you. He doesn't really do anything. He just kind of like turns with you. You just ignore him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just walk. And we see you like as the dust is like you're shimmering around you, like walking into the establishment. You probably like open the door and the dust like kind of like twirls around, right? Like in a cool fashion. Needle, how do you respond to this guy as you're walking?
He
over?
just ignores him too. He's like, okay.
Yeah, and I think right before like Ford Fiesta goes in first, and then Needle, you're behind her, and Bean grabs your arm. Do you do anything? Or just look at him?
I mean, I jerk it away from him.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, listen. You stay away. You stay away from this place. Something's bound to happen to it one of these days. It'd be a shame if someone as skilled as you are was caught in the crossfire. That's all I'm saying. And so like starts to like walk away. And he's like walking away, like kind of like trying to be cool, and then he like runs into a car and then and like walks in a different direction.
Needle snickers.
Yeah. So you guys walk into the establishment. Sapphire, would you like to describe for us what they see when they walk into this coffee shop?
So the first half is kind of, it's still that same Renaissance kind of like feel, but it's a lot more like light. I don't know, like I'm trying to think. because you said we're in a small town, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine there's probably a lot of travelers that just come through like this coffee shop
Yeah.
region up above. So I'd like to like think that Sapphire
more
has
normal.
made it as normal as possible.
Yeah.
Where like they're just like, wow, yeah, the staff are just kind of weird. Like they just like dress funny.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's just like normal, like hardy wood, like good tables, solid tables, like the bar countertop with, all the coffee and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then, maybe like some alcoholic beverages in the back, just,
But like
not-
pretty standard stuff.
pretty
yeah.
standard stuff.
And I think the reason that you can kind of like survive in business like this right now is because the town that you live in is kind of like owned and operated to some capacity by Gams. And he's like a rich warlord type, right? Who like kept a lot of money in the apocalypse. He has like his own like private security force. He has all this sort of stuff going on for him. But he has like rich clientele, like other like warlords from like the surrounding region. There's like a loose confederacy probably, and this is like the hub of it. And so a lot of like rich people come through here, and those are probably usually your patrons. Gams doesn't really like it that most of your patrons are like the wealthy aristocrats that he, is supposed to be friends with. And so he's always like, but he can't deny, right? He's stuck in this thing where he's like, he wanted it to be named after him. He's kind of sore with you. You owe him money, but he also sees the benefit. Like all of his like aristocrat friends are very happy with this establishment. So there's a kind of like tension there.
Because he knows what it is. He knows that
he
underneath
knows
there's
what
a
it
game
is.
store.
Mhm.
But I'm like, dude, I wasn't just going to come out and like say that, it was a game store, because I totally think that his name is spelled like games.
Right.
I totally pronounce it games.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
not games. It's
Yeah.
games.
Okay, we can just say that that's how it's pronounced just normally. That makes sense.
Okay.
Make more ambiguity there. But yeah, so Sapphire, are you in this part of the establishment, or are you down below?
No, I'm down below for sure.
Okay. Yeah, so you see, some people in more
Actually,
subdued-
maybe I'm up there because I was kicking out.
right,
Dean, and I
okay.
was just about to head downstairs again.
Yeah, okay. So was that you who literally pushed him out, or are you just like now talking to the serving lady that like let him out?
No, I'm just like talking to her. I'm like,
Okay,
thanks for
that's what I
taking.
figured. Yeah.
I'm like, because I don't do that myself. I get my
Yeah,
people to do
you
it.
get your people to do it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I have my own dagger, but a lady never shows her cards right away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just like talking to one of my people. I don't know. Let's call him Farley. And
Okay.
I'm just like, thank you, Farley, for taking care of that. You may go back to the back of the bar. And then I turn around and see Needle and Ford Fiesta.
Mhm.
I'm like, you're back already.
Needle, Needle or Ford, where were you guys? Just now, like where were you before?
We were on a Ford expedition.
I'm gonna send this recording to Seth and Jordan. You do realize that they'll see you for who you are.
That doesn't
They're
mean
not here. Someone has to pick up the slack.
Yeah.
They'll see me for who I truly am, which is ugly.
Am I ugly?
I don't know what we're doing. Were we
Were you on a
somebody?
standard like house call to like someone to help? There's like an outbreak somewhere maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing particular though. Yep. Okay. I'm just curious. How do you respond to that then?
I think Needle just says it was a quick job. Not much to it.
I just give like a bro nod.
Cool up nod, yeah.
Well, you coming?
I do a normal nod and follow.
So I just like finger to like follow me to the back, and then like go all the way to the back, and then like you make you go all the way to the back, and then you make like just a slight little turn past like the restrooms, And then like, it's like a nice hard wood door with, like the little latch thing, like, where you can like slide it. I knock, and then the person says, "Password." And I say, "Akuna Matata." I mean,
Right.
obviously the password changes every single week,
Oh yeah.
of course.
Oh, only every week. The security in this place is a joke. It's not change every
Fine.
12 hours.
Every day then, gosh.
Maybe that was the suggestion that Ford Fiesta had the first time he came here was like, or she came here, right? Was like, you change your password once a week. Like that's pretty weak sauce. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, so then we opens up
Sapphire's
the door.
offended.
Opens up the door, and then we descend into the basement where it just opens up, and it's very, very wide and in all of its glory.
So is this basically like every D&D nerd's like dream man cave sort of a situation? Like
Basically.
Like the memorabilia everywhere, like the hardwood tables that have the spot for dice, and like.
Oh yeah, and there's other games there too, other than just D&D.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, we see people with like, 7th edition Dungeons and Dragons, books. Yeah, that sort of thing.
That sort of a thing.
But yeah, you guys enter and you see the whole shebang. What do you guys usually do when you come here, Fiesta and Needle? Like, why do you frequent this establishment? Do you play the games? Do you
yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
What about you, Needle?
I think Needle likes to people watch.
Okay, sure.
So he's like, it's such an interesting crowd.
It's always an interesting crowd at this place. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Ford Fiesta, what is your favorite game? What do you play? You a board game person?
I mean, let's see. I'll participate in D&D, but I really love, like Ticket to Ride or the Game of Life because you just have vehicles.
Sure. Yeah, you're the person in Monopoly
Monopoly
who always
and the
gets
race
the car.
car.
and you literally you've stabbed someone over that once.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yep. I can see it now. Yeah, so you get involved in like the Game of Life or something like that, and start to sit down and order a drink or two or whatever else you would do. And
I will note, I do decide to go a little crazy in the Game of Life, and I don't buy insurance.
Whoa. Okay.
Because the world's gonna end anyway, so
Yeah,
whatever.
At the end of every Game of Life, everyone just they tip the board. They're like, the apocalypse happened. Yeah, there's there's a game. They've crafted their own version of the Game of Life. That's the Apocalypse Edition, and then there's a certain car that you draw or whatever. And that'd be funny. But yeah, so the night just kind of progresses as would be normal. But then, like always, there's a little bit of rowdiness, and Ba, who is just the worst. She's the worst. I think it's a she, actually. I think her name's Ba, and she is awkward, pushy. She's always staring at people, really intensely, creepily, almost.
Needle more intensely stares back whenever he sees her.
Right. You guys have stare-offs. But she loves playing Dungeons and Dragons, any edition.
Oh,
but,
she's one of those terrible players who always has to be at the spotlight.
Yep. Is always in the center of attention, always whines when their character dies, makes a huge deal about it, really, really annoying.
But also, the DM makes sure her character always dies.
Right, and it's the running tally of how many times her characters have died is on a chalkboard in the back somewhere.
It's just a joke between everyone else besides her that's the goal of the game is to kill her.
Yeah. But it comes to the point where it happens. Her character, who is she's playing a dwarf cleric at this point, dwarf cleric of some death god, and she steps on a plate in the dungeon, poison needle, the deadliest poison the GM can think of, and she drops dead like one save, and it's just like an instant death situation. And she at first like starts out basically. We hear you, Ford and Needle. You probably like have just like finished your, maybe Needle isn't playing, but you finished your game of life, and you're just kind of like sitting there with your drink or whatever, and you hear the GM say, "But you die," and then there's just a silence that like envelops the whole place because everyone knows what's gonna happen next. And she just says, "I what?" And the GM says, who is I think probably Toyota is the GM. And Toyota is a really big black guy.
Yes.
Who is just like, but he's like a teddy bear on the inside, but like he's super intimidating, but he's like the kind of guy who's just, and so he hates doing this part, but he feels like everyone else peer pressures him into killing her character every time. But yeah, he says to Ba, yeah, your character dies, and Ba says, I'm sorry. I thought you said my character dies. You do know what that means, right? It means you've lost the most valuable person on this party. And it means the rest of the dungeon is going to kill all of you. Do you realize that, Mr. Elf Ranger? Do you realize that, Mr. Gnome Rogue? Do all of you realize what you've done? And everyone's just like staring at her. A couple people just like starting to like chuckle. How are you guys responding to this?
I just kind of am like watching it with a grin on my face, like conducting like and mouthing like, yes, we realize.
Yeah.
Needle just sighs and takes another sip of his coffee.
Yeah. And then Ba stands up and she grabs like the map they're playing on and just like all the miniatures just go flying. She just grabs some dice and just starts chucking them at the wall. And Toyota says, now, listen, Ba, you have to understand that I put that trap there from when I made this dungeon in the first place. That wasn't a dig on you or anything like that. And then Ba says, it doesn't matter. You knew what you were doing. You knew. You could have lowered the DC for the perception check. You could have done that for me. And everyone is just like starting to just like almost like full on laugh. And then Ba does something that she's never done before. It always gets like rowdy and annoying. But suddenly she pulls like two pistols out from like her pants.
Boy.
And she literally just points them at Toyota, and instantly the mood of the room just instantly changes. It's just like, oh, all right, this has escalated now. And she says briefly before you guys can respond to this, she just says like, "Do you want to rethink that death save, Toyota?" How do you guys respond? Toyota's just like,
I mean, has this happened before? Because I feel like
no, she has
okay.
never, like, she's usually harmless, like, legitimately harmless. Like, she throws things, she yells, but, like, nothing like this has ever happened before. And the thing is, like, she's crazy. So, like, this actually is concerning people, because they're like, oh my gosh, like, she could literally just go on a killing spree right now, and I'm not sure what we would do.
Then I guess I would get my sawed-off shotgun out.
Yeah, Needle's been, like, sitting on the edge of his seat, like literally, and he just kind of like gets up onto the balls of his feet so that he can like jump towards her and like pin her down if he needs to.
Yeah,
probably everyone instantly is like hands on their weapons. Like we see some of the serving people like grab out a crossbow or something, and
just, like, and my face goes from like chuckling till it just like drops to very serious.
Yeah, Sapphire, how are you handling this?
I would like to try to use my move. Everybody eats, even that guy.
Oh, you want to know something more about Ba?
Yeah, to like see if I can like figure out a way to like calm the situation.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. So you can roll your hot there, and you can just roll it on the move itself if you want. Has a little roll button next to your move there.
Ooh, I got 10 successes.
Yeah. So result of 10 is
To ask 3 of these questions.
is a success. Yeah, it means you full success. Yeah, you ask 3 of those questions.
Okay, so first of all, how could I get to them physically or emotionally?
Physically or emotionally?
I mean, so let me ask the other 2 questions, and then
Yeah.
we'll see if maybe I
Yeah.
want to make this more of an emotional tactic,
Okay,
right? Where
sure.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
Bob, this is the reason why,
Yeah,
always
yeah.
happens, whatever.
Uh-huh.
What's up with them? Like, why are they acting this way? Sort of, that makes sense, right? And then,
Yeah. How are they doing? What's up with them? Yeah.
what or who do they like love best?
Right. Let's see. How are they doing? What's up with them? I mean, I think there's a combination of a couple of things. So Sapphire, everyone else just mainly sees that Ba is like this, right? Like Ba is crazy. She always throws tantrums. But you've noticed over the course of her attendance at the establishment that she definitely like has a thing for Toyota. And so what's basically happened over the course of, because Toyota's often the GM in situations like this, what's basically happened over the course of, weeks or months is like she has constantly felt rejection from him, not only just in general, but also like through this game. And so she's gotten to the point now where she's like legit snapped because she's like the guy that I really like just keeps like doing horrible things to me, and she can't really because she's legitimately crazy. She can't separate like reality from the game in some points, and so your guess is right, like with a combination of all of these questions, right? Your guess is she's viewing Toyota as like, not only does she not love me, but he wants to kill me, and so the only thing I can do to like save myself is kill him first before he can do it, sort of a thing. And how could I get to them physically or emotionally? I mean, you could, I mean, if you want, because obviously Toyota is your best regular. You don't want to see him die. So I think the way that you could probably handle the situation is get Toyota to understand what's going on, because I think if he understands, Toyota, he's like a big teddy bear. He will like profusely apologize. He'll be like as gentle and kind as he could possibly be, and that might be enough to calm her down, even despite all the rejection. Basically, Toyota is the key to get to her.
Okay, so I have to make sure that he can calm her down. Okay. Yikes. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, so that's what you know about her. But I guess, right, like Ford, if you're technically just like going for it, that's technically something that can happen too. You just point your shotgun at her, or Sapphire could do something. Like, what's the exact tenor of the room?
I mean, I was gonna say, I just like have it kind of like
at hand.
Yeah, like in my hand. It's like loaded but not cocked yet.
Yeah.
Just kind of ready.
Yep. Yeah, I guess it's on you, Sapphire. What you doing?
I mean, obviously, I want to try to manipulate this situation as well as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, because I feel like this is under something. Would this be considered doing something under fire, or would this be like?
It depends on what you're going to try to do. Just describe what you're attempting to do, and then I'll tell you what move you're making.
I mean, I feel like what I'm trying to do, right, is I'm just going to be like, Ba, like, I want to like be like really like cool about it, just because like my character would be really cool about it.
Yeah.
but just be like, where like I hardly like flinch at all, and I'm just like, Bob, put it away, girl. Come on, you know Toyota cares about you a whole lot, right? And like manipulate, like pull on her heartstrings a little bit, and like get her, like try to convince her that like Toyota like cares about her, and like it's everybody. Well, I don't want to say it's everybody else because then she'll just turn on everybody else.
That's true. That is definitely what will happen.
So be you know, maybe it's one of those things, right, where I'm like, you know, he gives you so much attention in the game because you're his favorite, and it just unfortunately sometimes the dice rolls just go that way.
He wants to challenge you and like make sure you have a good time, and sometimes it just, you know, it would be boring otherwise if you didn't get challenges in the game. Yeah.
And he's showing you so much attention.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's seduce or manipulate.
Okay.
Trying to seduce, manipulate, bluff, fast talk, or lie to someone. Maybe all 5. So yeah. So tell them what you want to do. Give them a reason. Roll plus hot. I mean, you basically did that, right? You want her to put down the guns and stop threatening violence. And the reason is Toyota cares about you and is giving you attention. So yeah, roll plus hot.
Okay, so just roll the little dice roll under hot.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, do I forward help interfere? So +2 or
Nope.
what? Just 0?
Nothing else. It will automatically give your hot the bonus. Yeah.
Ooh,
that is a failure. All right. So go ahead and say what you're saying, like in an actual character speak, and then we'll see how it goes horribly wrong.
I don't know how to be cool like Sapphire.
I mean, you're not going to be, right? Like, you're going to fail. So,
I mean, it's just like, you know, I'm just like sitting there, like my hand just like slightly on my dagger, and I'm just like, come on, Bot. You know that Toyota is giving you all the attention and is trying to make you happy. It's just sometimes that's just the luck of the dice. Don't take it out on Toyota. We all know that you love him.
Oof.
Oh, and so I think that's probably the thing that you said that was wrong, because she instantly gets super self-conscious and she says, I don't love him. What are you talking about? You're lying, Sapphire. She's lying, Toyota. She's lying. I mean, I think you're great, but not like I did.
It's not you, it's me.
I think she probably literally says that. It's not you, it's me. It's this, it's all of this. It's you keep killing me and she's just like starting to shake at this point. I think Toyota says, "Listen, but I can undo it. We can try again. I can give you a reroll. You had that really good scene earlier when you were talking to that NPC. I could just kind of give you inspiration. Get it? I don't know. This isn't really how the rules work, but..." And Ba's just shaking her head as all, like, the entire time he's saying this. And he's like, "Oh no, Toyota. It's too late for inspiration now. You're going to be my inspiration for a different game. For a very, very different game."
Okay, I cocked my shotgun.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Needle pulls out his stun gun and points it at her.
Yeah, and so I think we get a shot of, like,
hold up, people, my gun won't kill her.
She's basically holding it, like, as far as it will go, like, firmly and ready to pull the trigger, and then the entire rest of the establishment, everyone pulls out their guns and just points it at her. And she stops and, like, sees that. And Toyota is still like...
Poor Toyota.
Yeah, and I think Ba just kind of sniffs, looks around. But maybe the game hasn't started yet. And then she, like, slowly lowers her guns, puts them back into her, like, shoves them back into her, like, sweatpants, basically, and looks around, and she says, "This isn't over." "It's not over. And then she like starts to like back towards the door and is like pointing to like individual people, like points to Sapphire. It's not over. And then to Ford. It's not over. Toyota. It's not over. And then like gets to the door, opens it, and like leaves if people let her. Yeah.
I mean, she seems very mentally unstable, but I'm not gonna shoot her for being mentally unstable when it doesn't look like she's making the first move.
Yeah. And basically she just walks backward up the stairs, and you can still hear, like, very faintly as she walks up, it's not over. It's not over. And then everyone slowly calms down.
Needle rubs his forehead and looks into his coffee. He's like, what is in this?
Sapphire just like snaps her fingers to like one of her like employees, like rubbing her temple. She's just like, change the password right away.
Right. Yeah. Farley comes over to you. He's a attractive, handsome 25-year-old guy. And he walks over and says, right away, Sapphire. What do you think? Reference from Star Trek, maybe?
No, we did that last week.
Oh, right.
No, let's do some kind of like anime reference this time.
All right. What about
How about Pikachu, but you have to sneeze in the middle of it?
I like it. It's like she says that in between like a drink of hard liquor. She's like, yeah.
Right.
That's funny.
I want to go up to Toyota and like do our handshake that we have between us drivers.
Okay, I literally was just gonna say, of course. I like that was the only thing I knew that was gonna happen when you and Toyota met was you guys are gonna have a secret handshake.
Oh, of course.
You read my mind. Yeah, I mean, he still seems phased, so he's like, oh man.
I just kind of go like, you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. And then he just like, does the handshake, whatever it is. Do you know what it is, or do you want it to be ambiguous?
I mean, it's definitely something like, like back and forth, and then like half turn around and like back flap of the bottom, but then also do the thing where you kick up and go boom, 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 and like turn around as you like have your feet together at the side.
So Toyota looks totally ridiculous doing this because he's like so much of his body mass is in his torso that it's just it looks strange. But yeah, he does it with you. He still seems like kind of off. He's like, man, I mean, I knew she was a little crazy, but not that crazy. Not shoot you in the face crazy.
Yeah, so I want to go up to him as well and be like, you all right, Toyota?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just a little, shaking him in the head, that's all.
We all knew it was only a matter of time before Boss snapped.
Yeah, but I thought snapping was going to be like, running away, never coming back or something like that. I didn't realize she'd...
we'll make sure she never gets back in here.
Look.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, if you take my suggestion, Sapphire, and change the password every 12 hours.
Unnecessary. We have travelers coming through all the time. It's not like we need to. We will probably start changing it more frequently, yes, but I already changed it today. But they know not to let bot in anymore.
Okay, all right. And then someone who is playing in the game with him, like, brings, had walked up and gone somewhere and then sits back down and she says, all right, I updated the ball counter. I guess it won't change anymore, but it looks like the final count is 362. So that's pretty cool.
We almost made it to 1 year.
What a tragedy.
The trap was pretty nice, though. That's a good way. Good way to do it. And Toya just like kind of like raves. He was like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, and he's like, session's done for today, guys. We'll give you XP at the beginning of the next session. And he just like closes his book, his GM screen, and stuff like that. And he just like sighs and he's like, sorry, Ford Fiesta. I would and hang out and talk, ask you about the car, but I don't know. Everything just feels weird now. I think I'm just gonna go home. Maybe take a load off, read a book or something.
You need somebody to protect you as you drive. How dangerous do you feel like Ba is?
I mean, Bob feels relatively dangerous, but when you work for the guy who owns everything in town, you pretty much already have the best security you can get. And he's like one of the security guards for games. So, yeah. So he gathers all of his stuff, puts it in a backpack, slings it over one shoulder, and then he sees you, Needle, and then just kind of like his face darkens slightly, and then he just walks up the stairs. You tell me, do you know why he gave you a dark look, or do you not know?
If I know, does that mean I have to make up why?
Not necessarily, but if you have an idea.
No, I don't.
But which one do you want it to be?
I think I know.
Okay. Yeah. What do we think? What happened? What did Needle do something? Did Toyota think Needle did something? Is it just that Needle isn't well liked by games and like the town in general because you're like a philanthropist basically?
Probably.
And games is all about like maybe games has like offered you like a really lucrative position as his like personal doctor and you've turned him down every time.
Yeah.
Sort of a thing.
Yeah. Like
and
that.
So like maybe like the whole games operation, anyone who's connected to him is like he Needle's like goody two shoes, like he thinks he's better than us, sort of a thing. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So, what's his face? Toyota leaves, and I think the rest of the night probably just passes uneventfully unless you have any particular ideas about conversations you three wanted to have or like something you wanted to do. Otherwise, I think the scene ends there.
I'm good.
And obviously, we open on the next day, and Toyota is found dead in his house.
Of course.
No.
Yep.
Saw that coming.
Why you gotta kill my favorite character?
Sorry. And so, basically, I think we start the next scene with, in Ford Fiesta and Needle, I guess the question is, where do you guys stay when you're in town?
It's probably rundown motel or something.
The back of my car.
Oh yeah,
that's where Ford Fiesta stays, but
Yeah,
probably Needle can't fit in there too.
Probably not.
Very capacious
I
back
am a
there.
big man.
Yeah. And I just from a guess, I have a feeling Needle would feel uncomfortable sleeping in the back of a Mini Cooper with Ford Fiesta.
Yeah.
I mean, I sleep there also because I don't want my car to get stolen.
Yeah, it's also fair. Yeah. But yeah, so Needle and Ford Fiesta, are you here in the morning or at the Sapphire Sega, or are you somewhere else when this happens? There's gonna be a conversation between Sapphire and someone who
yeah, Needle's
comes to your
probably
place.
getting coffee there.
Yeah.
Just in the upstairs area, just like staring out the window, drinking coffee.
Okay. Yeah. So I think what happens then first, though, Needle, you're the one who sees this person first. Sapphire's downstairs doing whatever she's doing, accounting or I don't know, something like that, right? Like management. And Games walks in, and he has two buff security guards with him. They basically look like private military sort of a thing. Dark, combat armor and AK-47s and stuff. And he walks in, and Games is a very unappealing, kind of arrogant guy who looks like he stepped out of a picture from the Golden Age. He wears a wool hat, a paint splattered tuxedo, and he always has like his hands are always shaking. He's like palsy or something, and so his hands are always shaking. But he's like an older dude. And so and the paint splattered tuxedo was like an aesthetic choice. Like it's like a weird like kind of like tie-dye tuxedo sort of a thing. But the fashion changes among these like wealthy aristocrats who run these towns like every year. So it's like who knows what will be next. for these people. But he walks in and he immediately sees you, Needle, with your coffee, and then scowls.
Needle just gives him a friendly nod.
Yeah,
just acknowledging that he's there.
He takes off his hat, puts it on the rack like next to the door. Takes off his suit jacket, hangs it up, and then he starts to just walk towards the stairs, and then he just and goes over to you, and he says, "I'm gonna give you your own private mansion. Own private mansion. You didn't hear my offer. You didn't even listen to it, Needle. Now, what am I supposed to think about a man who just turns down something like that? The first sign of an offer. What are you, some kind of masochist? Do you like being poor? I've seen your skills. I've seen your skills, Needle, and I want them. And I will do whatever it takes to have them. And so if you keep turning down my generous offers, well, maybe you'll find out that the offer I give you is one you simply can't refuse." He's just staring at you hard.
Yeah, he just stares back and he just says, "No, thank you, sir."
I hate you. And then he walks away. And his guards trail after him, giving
Needle
you
just
strange
shrugs.
looks. Yeah, so Games comes downstairs, and he... Okay, so do you make Games say the password?
Well, obviously, because he is the guy who did it, he's always the first to know. And I think that's how people get the password.
I was
he knows the password at all times, and so
he knows the people that need to know the password.
Yep.
That makes sense. Yep. And then whoever else can be given the password as they want to be,
right?
As you desire. Okay. Yeah. So he walks down, and walks in with his security guards, and right away just kind of yells across the room. I don't know where you are, if you're at the bar, if you're at the a table, or
probably yeah, I guess I'm just at one of the tables, counting the money or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Getting ready for the day.
Yep. And he says, "Sapphire, we need to have a serious talk. Also, Pikachu with a sneeze in the middle is a really dumb password. Even my clients don't like Pokemon anymore."
Sapphire just sighs, and she just goes, "That's the point. You want to do the most unpopular thing to get into the popular place. That shows true dedication."
All right, sure, whatever. Sapphire, someone died this morning or last night.
Oh, please tell me it was Bean.
Bean? Oh, no, he's actually outside the establishment right now, asking for the password. But you'll have to handle that yourself. No, Toyota was found dead this morning in his apartment.
And her face kind of just drops for a second, and then she just composes herself, and then just does the thing where she does that, and then keeps going, and she's just
yeah,
really? How?
3 gunshot wounds to the chest. You know anything about this?
Well, if you read your memos, you would know. Toyota was threatened yesterday.
Toyota was threatened. Who would threaten Toyota and get away with it?
The only person crazy enough to do such a thing.
And who is that, Sapphire? I don't know every crazy nerd who goes to your establishment.
Really? You don't know the craziest one that goes through my establishment? The one that we have a count for?
No, there's no way that
Bob pulled a gun on him yesterday in the middle of it because he killed off her character again. She finally...
And you didn't shoot her? Come on, Sapphire. I don't pay you to run a sloppy establishment.
I didn't want the blood on my floor, and she's never done this
take
before.
her out back.
She's never done this before. How was I supposed to know that she was going to go to his apartment later and shoot him? He's one of your best security intel. How did he let this happen anyways? I love Toyota.
You loved Toyota. He's dead now, Sapphire, and you're responsible. You're going to have to clean this up.
Don't you dare put this on me.
Well, it's certainly not on my shoulders.
Don't you dare put this on me.
All right, well, you find whoever shoulders you want to thrust this upon, and you find me the killer. Whether or not it was that crazy twig, which I sincerely doubt, even if she did pull a gun on him. You find me whoever did this, and you let me know, and I will make them pay.
You don't think I want that too?
I don't know. Do you, Sapphire? Prove it to me. Find him. Or her. Or whoever. Also, rent's due.
She just, like, pulls out some, like, money and just, like, you know, it's, like, wrapped up already, but she, you know, like, throws that at him and just, like... like
he kind of stumbles and catches it. He's like, very good.
Take your money, and I'll find him, but not for you. Trust me, the people around here will want to know. Toyota was the best man of us all.
That may be true. I was trying to think of some other snippy comment to make there, but I couldn't really think of anything else, so guess I'll just leave now. See you, Sapphire.
Bye, Games.
Yeah. He walks out.
And then, like, Sapphire just, like, puts her hands in her head, like, after he leaves and just, like... And I think she, like, whispers, like, how did I let this happen? Like, why did...
Yeah.
Like, even though she didn't want, like, his words to, like, get to her and, like, feel like it was her fault, she's like, oh my god, this is totally my fault.
Yeah. Yep.
I had a chance to stop her, and I didn't. Oh, that sucks.
Yep.
And then after a couple minutes goes by, she just, like, sighs and just, like, goes upstairs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you see Needle sitting with his coffee. Is Ford up at this point?
Ford has been up for a little bit, but she is out working on her car.
Okay, but it's still, like, outside the establishment at this point. Yeah, so you see Needle, and then you can hear some sort of loud mechanical noises coming from outside your establishment.
I might walk in if I see Games walk out. I don't want to have to deal with him.
Yeah, so it's probably about that time that Ford walks in. Grease all over her and stuff. Wipe her hands on a washcloth. Whatever you do when you're a mechanic.
Yeah. Man, I don't even know. I think Sapphire just, like, goes up to, like, Ford and Needle and just says, Toyota's dead.
Needle just narrows his eyes.
Games just walked in here and told me he had 3 bullet wounds on him this morning. And he's made it known that it's my responsibility to find out what happened to him. Ford Fiesta, I know you were close to Toyota.
Look, I think the most unfortunate thing about this situation is there were 3 bullet holes. That means I'll have to reload when I find the person who did this to shoot them the same number of times.
Needle
Sapphire just like
holds a hand up. It's just like, or I could stun them.
Why would you do that?
Never mind.
Yeah, Sapphire just kind of like. Anyways, if you want to help me, I would be most indebted to your help.
Are you talking to me, Ford Fiesta, or
Well,
Needles?
Both of you, but mostly like my eyes are like mostly like on Ford Fiesta, just because like I know like that you care more about Toyota than like Needle maybe does, but
more personal.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Then I will
send me a list of what's in the angel kit again, or put it in chat or something.
Then I will reply going, yes, doing this huge favor for you. You would definitely be indebted to me, seeing as this is something that I would not normally just want to do to get revenge on the person who killed my friend. So I guess we have a deal.
Thanks. Needle, you in?
He just nods and takes another sip of coffee.
Great. Then how about we say we go for a ride?
I just like toss my keys into the air and catch them in my hand.
The rest of his coffee.
Nice, epic.
I throw the keys in the air and catch them in my hand, and then cock my shotgun in my other hand and throw it, get it like ready in a super cool fashion.
Yeah, and it's all in slow motion too, obviously.
Oh yes, of course.
Cool. Yeah, I mean that's probably a good place to take a break then. Yeah, and after you guys are heading out to find Toyota's murderer, obviously probably the first stop will be wherever Ba lives. So we'll pick up with that when we return here on Gamebound, playing some Apocalypse World. Pretty excited about it. I like these characters a lot. All right, we'll be back in just a second. Adios.